a lot of persons, and I am in the ancient age group. Leave me like a past elders now. We are the ancient age group. And there are plenty of people in my age group that I remember when we're talking about anything historical. They are saying that, boy, that's not slavery and it gone a long time. And the 200 years we come out of enslavement, people have to try and understand that. And our enslavement was not only physical, it was the psychological damage when
how many things that was invented 200 years ago we are still using.
Okay. And also, when we are talking about psychological enslavement, the enslavement will reach we, never reach any other race of people. Every race enslave them, one another enslave other people. But the type that reach us, we are the only one we don't know where we come from. We only have to try to assume. So we know, so we come from the motherland, Africa. But Africa is a big place.
Yes.
We can't say which tribe we come from, them take away language, them take away everything, and even up to this day, anything that we try to create or revitalize of our past, it is trampled upon. That is why the
Alright, so first I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Also say double honors to the apostles and elders of James Creation Stone, and to the Akim that are out there pushing this truth in sincerity to the elect. Shalom. Alright, this is Brother Kanan here with a quick lesson. And as you hear the audio in the background, that's where I'm gonna do this lesson on, and a few more things, right? Now, this person, as they call her, Auntie Dana, right? She's telling you that, look, she's taking blame for some of these things that would have happened to our people as a nation, because the elderly people, and even there, it come down to the past where we don't know history. Right? Majority of the people in Jamaica, the Israelites, the true people of the Bible of God, they don't know their history. They don't know their past. They are lost sheep. That's what it stands for. They don't know who they are. They don't know their history. They don't try to know their history, because when you try to tell them anything that goes back into the past, them tell you that a slavery does that. That's what she said. Now, when we go out and teach people and tell them, at the time them tell that a Bible days and that now do nothing for them. No, that now put them on to them. No. Funny enough, all we're speaking of is happening now, because the Bible is what prophecies that are unfolding. And this person that you see on screen, right? This person is a person who interviewed brothers before, before him take up politics. We used to want interviews and all that, and they've gone ahead and did interviews with him before, and you would have realized that people that I'm talk to know what I'm talk say, because pastors they all run from the discussion, and the few that decide that they were running, they looked as fools, because they didn't even know that there was a book called Obadiah about their learned pastors. So he knows, right? And all that. But let's get back on track. So you would have heard she said that we don't know ourselves. And she hear the history we come from Africa and all of this thing, and but we're in Africa and all of that. Africa is a continent, right? There are different tribes in Africa. And again, she's saying that it's just another thing again, because she don't know the history either, which she admitted. She don't know the history. So how she's going to teach anyone the history if she don't know it? Alright? So the history is that we fled Jerusalem in 70 AD. Right? We went to the west coast of Africa, that region, say of Ghana, Mali, all these, the west coast of Africa, Nigeria. Those people are our people. We are the same people. But it didn't stop there. We were taken from that region and we were brought to the Western world. Not only in the Western world, we were dispersed. Which is why today they refer to so-called Jamaicans as what? The diaspora. And they dispersed. We were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And we made settlements mainly in the West Indies. Through who they call Christopher Columbus, and those other slave masters again, which the so-called white man, again Christopher Columbus and the others, they were the ones who fund and move this voyage and brought slaves and those shenanigans, right? That took place, but who did that happen to? Again, the Israelites, the ones that fled Jerusalem, and went to the west coast of Africa. That's what happened there. That's the history. And therefore, wherever in the world these people are, they would be the same people. Now, what did the so-called white man did? Which we're going to get into that. What did the so-called white man did? After so-called slavery abolished, brainwashed us. The same enemy, brainwash our foreparents, tell them that they are Jamaicans, they are African American, they are all type of different names, and they would have passed a law in that time frame that the so-called slaves could be a citizen. No, this is a problem that a lot of people don't really do deep thinking, or it's not really deep, but just think, right? If it was a rule of thumb that wherever you were born is your nationality, right? I'm going to get to some scriptures, right? If it's rule of thumb that wherever you were born would have been your nationality, we were in the Americas, our foreparents were in slavery for quite some time, for years, until them say them are going to make so-called abolish slavery. Then why would they need to change or make a law for the people that were born there to become citizens of the country? Why would they do that if it was like that? And why today there's only, I think the number is 32 nations that are following this so-called rule? Why? And that's the problem. A lot of people don't go back in history. They don't know when things change or who changed things. What was the purpose of it being changed? If was it changed to deceive you or whatever? They don't know that. So I'm going to get to some scriptures. I'm going to play the video on screen as well, because there's some information in it that may be useful, right? So let me start from the first precept. So this precept is basically saying what Auntie Dana is saying, but again, I don't think she understands these levels, right? So I'm going to read it. This is Romans 15 and verse 4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." So God don't know, say, these things were going to happen to us. Same, write them down so that we can read them, right? And come back to the senses and do what? Have hope. All right? Because without that, you are miserable. You're going to be frustrated. And eventually, when it gets real sticky, you're going to lose it. And you're going to try and revolt, which is what these people are really trying to push in. You're going to have revolts. And I can guarantee you that all those who jump in the revolts, you ain't going to make it. Right? Bible says if you take up the sword, they're going to die by the sword. You're not going to make it. So I'm trying to pass on wisdom for those who have ears to hear, because I know that majority won't. So, but if one person hears and wake up, then the angels in heaven rejoice. And that's what we're here for. That's the only intention, to wake up the elect of the nation of Israel. All right? So here, Auntie Dana said they don't know themselves, and we are the only people that would have psychological happen to. Right? So other nations went into slavery as well. But they didn't lose themselves. They didn't lose who they were and all that. No, they know who they are. All right? And they didn't lose a position when that happened to them. They still have their heritage and position that they can all go back to. But this, what the Bible speaks of, let me get it real quick. All right? And the thing is, a lot of people in Jamaica call themselves, God-fearing people, but they don't really like to hear the Bible. And when they hear it, they don't stand with it. They oppose it, which that makes you an anti-Christ or anti-God, because you're going against what God says. All right? Now let's get to the scripture. All right? This is Psalms 83 and verse 1. This is what the Bible says. "Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still. oh Yahweh, it says God there, but we all who knows the the Bible was written in Hebrew first, and the people of God spoke Hebrew, which is why they're called Hebrew Israelites, right? For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee lifted up the sword, or lifted up the head, sorry. They have taken craft to counsel. This is what I'm talking about. The psychological mindset with them, the working of them work on our people mind to destroy them, right? They have taken craft to counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. So they cut off the people of Israel from being the Israelites. Who that happened to? You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. You are the true biblical Israelites, but you were enslaved and taught different names. While another set of people, the enemies who did this, is trying to steal your land. And why are they fighting over there? Because the people them over there now, the Palestinians are people over there, they know that the so-called white man is not the true people for the land. So they're over there squatting and fighting for the land that belongs to us. And you over here fighting for pens, right? Cooper's pen, March pen, Ty's pen, all kind of pen. That even if you were able to be given a paper, it's going to say that you're landholder when God gave you rights to inherit a land for yourself, a land that is fruitful and blessed. Imagine the so-called gutterers, these so-called Israelis, right? These people can influence a nation like America through different means and ways. They have that level of power and influence on a mighty country like America. And they are fighting for a piece of land that you have no desire and care for. You don't even know that it belongs to you. That's what Antonina is saying without understanding what she's saying. Alright? So when you hear the prophets teaching, the Bible, the people that God's give this word to tell you, right? Look into it if you have an ear to hear, because again, many will not hear. Right? But let me proceed. Right? It says, for they have consulted together with one consent. And this is why they know who belong to the land or who don't belong to the land. Because if you know history again, when the so-called Israelis went over there into the Middle East, one of the first nations to oppose them was Egypt. And Egypt said, the so-called, I don't remember if it's a king or whatever, but there was a main character over there that had power. He said the Israelites left black, dark skin, and they came back white. What is he telling you? He's telling you that he's sure that these people are not the true Israelites. Again, because they have consulted together in one consent to destroy us and put us into slavery. That's what happened. So the Palestinians are going to always fight against the Israelis, and it's going to be like that. But the thing is, Israel have more power because, again, they have such influence in America and they are backed by America. Even though the world is against what they're doing in regards of how they're destroying the people them over there. It's plain and simple. All right? Well, let me read some more. It says they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against the tabernacle of Edom. Right? Who is Edom? Edom is Esau. Who is Esau? Esau is so-called white man, which is really the red man. Right? That's what Edom goes into. Red, Adawam, goes into what? You can see in color or in blood trim skin. So God mark him so that you can actually see him and know him wherever I'm doing in the world. Or it's not a coincidence that the so-called gutterats today, the so-called Israelis today are those people. They ain't a coincidence. And it also goes on and says, the tabernacle of Edom, the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Agarenes, right? Moab, Chinese, right? Ishmaelites, those so-called Iranians, right? Moab, but actually Chinese, Agarin, Jibal, Ammon, Japanese, Amalek. Amalek is one of the chief of Edom, right? And the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, right? Assur is also joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot, right? Now we can continue with that, but we're going to pause there. Now, let's play some of the video that is here so we can dissect it and go into the information, all right? So let's go.
Most of it I learned the now we teach them, and we teach them for now accept the things that we have to know. We don't want to dwell in the past, but we must be aware of the past so that we don't repeat it, and we see we are going right back in our enslavement, It's only that I know move them and move with them right just to enslave ourselves.
All right, Auntie Don, blessings. 1-876-804-7072. Hold on, caller. A person having a huge problem and they consume a lot of alcohol to get their mind off the problem, but they wake up in hey boy. Let me tell you something. You can't drink away your problem. Cannot drink away your problem. Yes, sir.
All right. I call them a reason, right? So, what I'm simply saying to you, sir, without being rude to you, the person you spoke to as a liar said that we don't know the evidence that the police would have acted on, right? No, I'm not here to justify what it is. I don't know nothing either. What I'm here to talk about is the history that you guys are talking about that people don't know anything about, right? The history not about the Palestine and Israelis, them. These people both are squatters over there. They are two squatters. The land don't belong to them. They were given the land by England, and them over there fight for it. That's what happens when people thief land and fight for it. Bigger power stand, and the bigger power go destroy the next smaller power because him have more power. All right? Now, the history not try to tell me that the land belongs to us over there. These two.
All right, let me pause a little and read some scripture. I'll read a scripture just to point that out again. All right? Because the evidence should stand, and people that believe in the Bible, if you truly believe in the Bible, when the Bible speaks, you would accept what the Bible is saying or try to understand what the Bible is saying to get more knowledge. I pray for understanding. All right? So this is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. Let's start from verse 1. And they have cast lots for my people, right? And have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts, right? All right, before I read that part, let me go back to 1. I said 1, and I was reading 3. Well, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah, right, and Jerusalem, the 12th tribe of Israel, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat in the Middle East. The war is taking place in the Middle East now. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Right? So the Bible is saying that the judgment's going to take place in the Middle East, Valley of Jehoshaphat, that's down there, right? And he's going to plead with the people them down there for what? Scattering Israel and him heritage and parting him land. So what is being done in Palestine and so-called Israelis them? They are trying to divide the land so both can be so-called dual state in that region. All right? So they're separating the land. They know the Israelis know what the true landmass should be. And according to the Bible, they want to attain that entire landmass because it was promised to the true Israelites. The Palestinians didn't know that. It don't belong to them. And that's the thing. Go look up what is Gaza. Look up these regions. Look up the maps. Get some knowledge. Do some sort of history. Study some history. Know certain things. Or people like to call these things and say them every day in Jamaica, but they have no clue what they are talking about. Absolutely nothing. All right. So they part of their land. They sold our children or for an hour. Like, we were sold to slavery. Let's put it that way. All right. But let's continue.
Countries are too.
The lands over Israel belong to Jamaicans or black people.
Right.
Jamaicans are black people. Which one?
It belongs to the true Israelites.
Okay.
Belongs to.
And who are the true Israelites?
The so-called Negroes in America, the so-called Negroes in the Caribbean, the Asian, the Dominicans, the Cubans. We are all one people that were taken from that region, from the west coast of Africa, who fled Jerusalem and brought into slavery by the so-called white man. The said Jewish people them who sponsored the ship them for bringing a slave over here. Right? That is the history of their tribe.
Let's pause again. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, this is prophecy, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even without stone. We're scattered from what? From the west coast of Africa unto all parts of the world, mainly in the western world. Right? Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. What did they use to transport us over here? Ships. We were packed on ships like sardine from one end of the earth to the next end of the earth to go what? You know what? Slavery. The word Egypt means bondage, slavery. We were brought in slavery over here. The Israelites. Right? Now let me finish this one and just continue. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, which the land that we were going into at that time, which is the land of Israel, we never dare go see it again until the Lord return and redeem us, which we are still in Jamaica, still in Trinidad, still in Cuba, still in Haiti, all what doing what? Suffering. And who's leading over us, are ruling over us, are having the benefits over us, so-called white people, right? They prosper, we struggle, right? And there shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall free you, because that's how you redeem a slave. You have to buy them from out time captivity. All right? So that's what happened to our people. We were sold to our enemies, the so-called white man, the Edomites, the so-called fake Jews that are over there, the gutter rats. Those people are the ones who did all of that. Let's play some more.
Correct on the point. The problem I have still when there's people call you say you're open to this dialogue and that, but things when people that align to your call you do them respectfully.
No, but listen, when I am hosting the show, yeah, and you have this style that you say something, and once I start respond, you start talk same time. It not go work.
3 things men experience before giving erectile dysfunction. 1, dribbling after peeing. Most men just think this is part of getting older. It's not. It's your ischiocavernosus muscle getting too...
Respond, you start talk same time. It not go work.
Okay.
You understand? When me start talk, me expect you to stop.
No problem. Go
ahead.
I just feel like say you're cutting out before I make the point.
I didn't cut you off now. You hung up. Don't do that. I did not cut you off.
No, Mr.
You hung up.
I say cut off it. When I say cut off, I mean like it. Just stop me from the point.
No, but as me say, when me start talk, you will stop. I will always allow you to speak. Go ahead.
All right. So, that's why I'm saying I trust politicians and I politicians, because by right, according to Jamaica as it is, we are all landholders here, even if you buy a personal piece of land. You're not the owner of the land. All right? And the government can claim it back again because it doesn't belong to you. You're not the rightful owner. According to the Bible, what we're supposed to believe in, our youth believe in, God gives every nation a possession of land and an inheritance to the people. Them. We were displaced from our land, and now we are fighting lands that don't belong to us. No, you hear about the Trump, say what
let me pause there just to make the point again. Scriptures, proof, evidence. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divide to the nations their inheritance, When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of children of Israel. For the large portion is his people, Jacob is a lot of his inheritance. Now, why this is clear, it says the Lord divided the nations and give them their inheritance. All right? So there's the Chinese, the Moabites, they have their own land. The so-called white man was given Mount Seir. All nations were given lots and land, and they were told not to move the boundaries. Right? No, you people know you don't believe in that. You believe in what men tell you, and that's why they're robbing you and taking you for fools. All right, let's play.
New executive order in pass. Him said they passed the laws back in the slavery time period to give the slaves them right to America. Because really and truly,
you're talking about the Bertha law.
Yeah, right. The birth. Because your belief is wherever you are born makes you that nationality.
Yes.
Right? That is your standpoint.
That is my stance, so yes.
Right.
You can't change where you're born.
True, you can't change your born, but where you're born have no significance to you. I just become man.
I disagree with that.
All right, so he's saying that wherever you are born, that's what you are. No, wherever you're born there, and you can't change the facts, you're born there. But the land don't make you anything different. What does the land is going to do that's going to make you different? No, it doesn't. All right, but however, wherever family you are from, you're going to have attributes, ways like that family. So your family is more important to you as who you are than where you are born. All right? I'm going to point out that simple and easy. Say, this is not the rule of thumb in accordance to where you are born. People don't get names by the land that they were born. People get names by who their foreparents are. And the land get named by the people them who own the land. So for example, in Jamaica, there are lands, right? But don't you have names given to these land? Right? Don't you have names given to these land by different people? Why never the people them will live at the land and just name of the land there? Let's move the term Jamaica. Just put it on a small level. Right? So the land of Israel, it never named the land of Israel from the beginning. It was changed because a man by the name of Israel lived there. And his children lived there. So the name is telling you that this land belongs to the Israelites. That is plain and simple. The land of Ham is because a man by the name of Ham get that part of land, so those people would have come under that family. That's why it named that. Now they change it, you know what I mean, to different name nowadays because they're changing names to what? Deceive you and to lose you. So nowadays, not a lot of them you don't know the correct names of them unless you do with history. Let's say go back. For example, other people call Iran. You know, they talk about Iran. Who are the Iranians? Right? Who are the Iranians? You know what I mean? If you go back into history and look up the Iranians' history, right? I'm trying for it to come back to me, right? It was just right, man. These are the Persians, which is why where they are, it's called the Persian Gulf. So even though their name changed from Persia or Persian, they are the same people on their land. They've been living there for ages, then for them place. So where is ours? A people that was displaced and put into a different land. Now we've accepted the land that we are now in as our land because the slave master gave it to us and tell us, say, look here, we can go and hold it, but we are still monitor over with a governor general and all of that. Mental slavery, destroyed mentally. That's again the issue that you people are not looking into or trying to understand. All right? So let's play some more.
Anywhere you're born,
I know.
This or your land. You can't change it.
All right. Hold on, no, some ask a question, right? So when you believe in the Bible, when Egypt had the Israelites in slavery, did the Israelites, were the Israelites born in Egypt?
Yes.
Why weren't they called Egyptians?
Those who were born in Israel are Israelites. Those who were born in Egypt are Egyptian. Our foreparents were born in Africa. They are Africans. I was born in Jamaica. I am a Jamaican.
Here all them rubbish now, right? There's no nation by the name Africa. None. It's a continent, right? No nation by the name. Even the continent of Africa, there's different nations, different tribes, right? And they don't just call themselves Africans, right? What tribe are you from? There are different people there as well. Some of them are arch enemies. Being black don't make you the same people, right? That don't add up, right? And guess what? Let me just point this out to you, right? Because this what you're saying just now, which you're gonna get cut in it, you know, because the scriptures they can't break truth, right? So the scriptures shows you clearly that it doesn't matter. Before the so-called white man decide to change that for the slaves, all right, and before Rome, because this used to happen in Rome. This used to happen. It's majority of the time that this happen is a so-called white man did it, and because he has no heritage for himself, him always going and steal people name. This again is history. You have to know these things. They took on the Greeks, the names of the Greeks, and they call themselves Grecians. They weren't the true Greeks. History again. How many of you know this? Right? The Romans, they weren't the true Romans either. They took the people, them identity, right? Because God cursed them and said they're gonna be a vagabond in the land. How about the place? So them go about everywhere and thief people names. They were also calling themselves Egyptians as well. Which is why when you see the movies today, majority of the time you see move them, we are seeing as some white people. No, they did rule over that period, that region for some time, right? But they're not the true Egyptians. They weren't, the Egyptians were dark-skinned men, right? But again, history again, right? No, not to stray from the point, because again, you're going to tie yourself up, which you're already doing that already, you know, right? He's going to tie himself up, right? But I'm just pointing a lot of the information to show you that before them men do them thing, yeah, and make change certain laws for people, we should accept it but come back over, you know. For sure, they change these laws to make anyone can accept their culture different means or different ways. In Greece, that was the first time, or that was noted that it was done by the so-called man then. For all people leave their heritage, well, before Babel, right? That happened in Babel, and God destroyed that. Then they come back in the so-called Grecian time period, and them say, yo, everybody if come and become Greece. To speak Greek, if you speak one language, if you speak Greek and take on Greek custom, and then push that throughout that region, you see me? And then Rome do a similar scenario where you can become citizens of Rome. It doesn't matter where you were. If you're born there, you can get citizen by birthright, or you can purchase it, or different means and ways that you can become a Roman citizen. That's and he said so-called man come back again today, and he did it with us in slavery, or for parents in slavery. And this is not something that is being done by the entire world. Majority of the world don't follow this concept. It's where the slaves, Latin America, Caribbean, these are many of the places that follow these things, and it happening to what? You, us, we, the slaves. Why it is happening to us? Because our mental, as the lady said, we are the ones that are destroyed mentally and not knowing ourselves. But let's continue.
Me no know no other land.
You don't answer the Bible question as a man who believes in the Bible.
What is the Bible question?
The Bible question is, Egypt was in slavery, just like we were in slavery. Egypt was bondage, slavery, right? The Israelites went into slavery in Egypt, and they were in slavery in Egypt. Hundreds of years, them didn't know they born, raised, them picking up there. They were not Egyptians, they were Israelites. Why?
Who said that they were? Hold on. So you hold on, come here, mix me. I not understand what you are saying. You are saying that the Israelis were enslaved by the Egyptians?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And the hold on. And the Israelis, some of them were born in Egypt. Right?
Right.
And you are saying that those who were born in Egypt are not Egyptian?
Israelites weren't Egyptians, they were Israelites. I'm reading here. The Exodus 11, verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that they may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel, but they were born in the same land. My point of making this is that
I don't understand that. Where you refer to.
Right, you're not going to understand it because it debunks all the lies that you are accepting as nationality. You are standing on out of many different nations, we are one nation. Out of many different families, we are one family. That is rubbish. It's called confusion. It's babble. It's confusion, right? You're saying that if the Chinese come here, come live, and them have pitney here, then they are Jamaicans. If the so-called white man come here, and them have pitney, they are Jamaican. I'm going to show you now how it's going to affect your concept and your thought process. You are hell-bent and against Israel because, like what them are doing in Palestine, you have them as devils and all that. That's great and fine. All right? That's factual. All right? But your mindset that you have, if they come to Jamaica and have children in Jamaica, they are now a part of you. They are your family. They are one of you. And therefore you have to support, and because you want to be patriotic in a sense, which is rubbish. But that's what your mindset alludes to. Right? And that's what Donald Trump is saying. He knows. I understand. But the thing is, the land belongs to them neither. Because them people they stole the land from the Native Americans. They were the ones who were there living. But that's what I'm saying. The people that with the power gonna overthrow those who don't have the power for the land. You need power to retain land. And you can't go out and say land of yours, because what if somebody more powerful than you come and say that they want a land and you have to live up? You're going to have to defend it, or you're going to have to live, or you're going to have to die for the land. And that's what's taking place in Palestine. And Gaza with Israelis them. Them no want to live up, because they're going to fight till death, they're going to fight feet. Let's continue.
Me head now wrap around it this morning. Because listen, hold on. Here I said to you this morning, don't move me from a Cooper's pen, because right now you move me from Cooper's pen and I carry me over Egypt. And my brain now wrap around it because I am so upset about the men who were arrested at 3 o'clock in the morning. You might not want to put...
No, what just happened is that you were confounded and you are unable to accept that you're confounded. That's just what happened. And don't believe we don't know. We understand this. We've spoken to people many times. We know when time someone hits someone and they're dumbfounded or confounded, whichever way you want to put it. Right? But instead of you just accepting that narrative that you have in your head is incorrect and truly believe in the Bible, you claim to say believe in it, you are fighting with it. Trying to say you're trying to rap. You're fighting with it. Because if you understood that, then the Cooper spend thing come down to a scenario again, that you're here in your enemy's land fighting for something that you cannot own. I remember, I still over 500,000 people them saying that Jamaica We are still squatters. Alright? Let me read the next scripture. I'm going to make it play it again, but let me read the next thing again. So that this is how powerful the Bible is. And that's how one time we read the Bible when we hear people talk. After the time we hear talk, sometimes we just pay it in the mind. You see me? But sometimes you're just pushed. A spirit in you just say, yo, Ray. You know, you reach out. Because sometimes it makes no sense. Well, hear this. This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth. For the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. Rebelled. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. The true Israelites don't know them owner, and they don't even consider. They don't know where they are from. And them animal know say, yo, this is my yard. I must walk on my yard. And all that. Israel pass a dumb animal. They don't know nothing. And here she do they say, she blame for our generation. But it goes way back before that. They were brainwashed by the so-called white man to accept this. The pride that you're accepting, Jamaica pride and all of them things. Those things were given unto you by the enemies. You were taught to be, they took everything from you and gave you something for you to hang on to. And you're hanging on to it with all of your life. Not knowing that you're the people of God, and that makes you what? Israel, Yashar, Allah. You are a son of God. That's what it means. All right? Let's continue. It says, the ox knoweth his owner. Verse 4. A sinful nation, scamming, obia, fish, adulterers, thieves, murderers, idolaters, breakers of the laws, consist a sinful nation, right? A people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. They not go backward. Right? Why should you be stricken anymore? Says the Lord. Why am I beaten anymore? Will you revolt more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick. Sick. Sick, man. And the whole heart faint. Right? Let me just go down to here. Verse 7. It says, your country is desolate. Which country is desolate? The land of Israel. Your cities are burned with fire. Right? Your land, strangers devour it in your presence. Don't want to take away your land and I don't know which the way I watch it about. What going to buy Israel? You know where I go on? All the price will go up. I'm going to destroy your land. You can't make this thing up, yo. Right? It says, your land, strangers devour in your presence, and it is desolate and overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. And you can look through it all the way, we just call it Israelites, them and say, the Negroes that in America. Look what them are living at. You go downtown, people catch on house on each other. You're going to Mexico, you're going to Brazil and Colombia and place them call it the favelas or whatever they want to call that term. Where you see house, pan top of house, ghettos. Right? That's the mindset of most of our regions, yo. Fighting for land in some land that don't belong to you. Fighting for lands in a land that don't belong to you. That you're enslaved in. And this is how you want to live as a people and fight and killing one another, right? When God have better for you, right? If you just read and believe, you have hope because God is going to give us back what belongs to us. You know what I mean? All right, let's play.
No connection to it. I am putting a connection to it, and I am saying this is my view now. That to remove any potential resistance from the demolition of the houses. So
let's raise a car now. Well, that would have justified. So if you of your own self can think and say, yo, yeah man, you see the money at them.
That's my focus there this morning.
If you can say you see the man, the man they would have put up a resistance against the police legally. No. Illegally, yeah. Therefore, that would be what? Criminality. Save the police, and again, I'm not justifying, because again, I don't know. But if you can come to the conclusion and say that they would have done that, and if there's threat made, because I read allegation of that, but again, I don't know. I really want to talk about that, that doesn't make no sense, right? But let's be carnal for a moment, right? You're saying that there's valid reason as to why the post might have threat, because the post them come and feel like, say, yo, if we come down here, we're gonna get there's gonna be resistance for the man legally carry him action. Or they might feel like, so these men made threats or not. They have the right to take steps to prevent that, because the police carry force. So suppose the person going to and them try now to resist, and suppose them kill them off. But like I said, them kill them off for peace of land. When they kind of take them and move them aside and move off of the land. You get me, I say? So again, Babylon system, corruption, yours not your rest. This is gonna destroy you. The Bible said that your enemy's land is not your rest. The land that you're brought in captivity is not your rest. It's gonna destroy you with a sword destruction. I'm gonna really have the time for support that kind of foolishness. But let me just finish the video up by playing off what he was trying to get to.
Let me talk about that then, right? Because the point just was clear. But let me talk about that point again. It's like, again, I don't believe in politics and politicians, because PMP was trying to get the people on that specific land. But you said earlier that Jamaica own how much land, the government own how much land.
Yeah.
Not differentiating that the government has three arms, and that they can act on their own based on the arms that the government have. There's three different arms of the government. When it's a government, that is kind of misleading, because someone with no sense will think that you're just talking about just one arm, and there's different parts of the government. But let me just move on, right? Why didn't PMP them take the people from that land and give them annexed land whenever owned by somebody else?
That's a fair question, but at the time, maybe the government believed that they could use because the government.
Show you again, to justifying, it's rubbish. If they wanted to, they could have done that, right? And they could have made it where eventually them get the time to put roads and all the infrastructure there. But these are settlements that they don't. So them just trying to say, look here, go and go do that. You know what I mean? So it's not being done formally, which eventually will be done. You know why? Because 2030 is not going to the vision 2030. Them not have that plan there for it. So eventually I'm gonna do all them things to get back and put people places where they want to put people and all the bull crap there. Alright. But again, the stance that the prophets and the people of the Bible should be taking, right, and the elect taking, is the stance with God. This is not our rest. And while we live here as best as we can, you know what I mean? We're gonna flee this land eventually. We're gonna have to leave this land. All over here gonna be a thing of the past. It was never made for a rest. It was made for a captivity and punishment. And that's however you're suffering. And again, you don't know your past, you don't know where you're going. So with that, I did a video look longer than normal. So hope someone was edified, if I one person. And I mean, that's what the Lord have us out here to do, to wake up his people, the elect. So if I have one person, all praises to Yahweh or Yahushai. And if anybody, I same thing. All praises to Yahweh or Yahushai. Again, shalom.